The man sent his son to take the college entrance exam, but halfway there, he received a flirtatious call from the scheming woman to go be with the pregnant scheming woman. The man brutally dragged his son out of the car. Ignoring his son's cries, he drove off. In a desperate attempt to make it to the exam on time, the son ran as fast as he could, but the next second, a speeding car slammed into him, throwing him away. By the time the woman arrived at the hospital, her son was already lying in the cold morgue. She held her son's body, crying uncontrollably, calling his name over and over, hoping to awaken the child who would never respond again. Beside her, the assistant shared the truth of what had happened. As the woman was drowning in the pain of losing her son, the man's call came through. He showed no remorse. Instead, he coldly told the woman to apologize to the son on his behalf, and revealed the pregnant scheming woman's news. He even suggested that after the child was born, the woman should help raise it. The woman didn't respond, and coldly hung up the phone. She swore quietly over her son's body that she would make them pay a heavy price. 20 years ago, the woman had defied her family and married the man who was at the edge of bankruptcy. With her help, the man rose from the edge of collapse, and even grew into the richest man. But as his career blossomed, his attitude toward the woman grew more and more distant. Not only was he impatient with her, but he also developed an improper relationship with the company secretary. For the sake of her son, the woman endured time and time again, but her tolerance didn't bring stability to the family. Instead, it led to an irreparable tragedy. However, what the woman didn't expect was that just as she brought her son's ashes back home, the man brought the pregnant scheming woman home. Still unaware of his son's death, the man thought the woman, now a yellow-faced wife, was crazy, so he had the scheming woman leave. Then he took out the gift he had prepared for his son, announcing that tomorrow was the company's 30th anniversary celebration, and demanding the woman bring her son to attend. Then, he would announce him as the heir to the family. The woman looked at his self-righteous expression, and slapped the gift away. Then, she took out a divorce agreement she had prepared earlier, but the man didn't care at all. He even mocked the woman, saying that after she left him, she was nothing, and if they divorced, the son would have to stay with him. With that, he tossed the divorce agreement aside, and left the house without looking back. The woman could no longer suppress the despair in her heart. She dialed the assistant's number, and officially announced her return to the major families of the capital. On the day of the anniversary celebration, the hotel was filled with guests. Laughter and chatter filled the air. The scheming woman wore a glamorous dress, and hung on the man's arm, feigning guilt. She claimed that it was her fault, that the family had conflicts, but the man looked pleased, thinking that the woman was still in love with him, and that she depended on his wealth. She would never truly divorce him. Just then, the woman, dressed in simple clothes, walked slowly into the venue holding her son's urn. The guests immediately began whispering, mocking the woman's shabby clothes, calling her a village woman unworthy of standing on stage, and belittling her as just a housewife who only knew how to cook and wash clothes. Upon seeing the woman, the man's first reaction wasn't to ask why she was dressed like that, but instead to question why she didn't bring her son. The scheming woman continued to stir the pot, saying the woman deliberately didn't bring her son, and dressed like she was in mourning, just to embarrass the man in front of all the guests. The woman didn't respond. She just coldly stared at their ugly faces. The man proudly hugged